point glass there. Score! Redirected in front. Icecats tie it up on the power play.
The shot and a score! Max Sliwinski puts the Icecats on the board.
Capobianco has the puck now. Point. Sliwinski fires. Score! Max Sliwinski! 1-0 for the Cats on the power play!
Hello again, everybody. You're listening to the Double Minor. It's Monday, February 18th, 2008. We are joined right now by Max Sliwinski of the Arizona Icecats. Max, how you doing, buddy?
Good, I guess.
Doing pretty good, man. It's we're just figuring out the final rankings here of the season. I know it's frustrating. It's but you just tell us what you just told us. I mean, it's politics, right?
I mean, I think it's similar to the BCS, and depending on strength of schedule and what other teams think of you, politically, I think it's just unfortunate. We win 9 out of 10 and only move up 2 spots in the rankings. Seems pretty unreasonable to me. I mean, there's a couple teams ahead of us who have sub 500 records.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, and there's teams ahead of us that there's teams that have made the tournament that we've split with. I mean, I know ASU, I think, split with URI, University of Rhode Island,
they did
last weekend, and or 2 weekends ago, I forget which one. We beat them, 7 out of 8 times this year, and it's just frustrating when if you're not playing, high-end competition, which tends to be out east, I guess. You just don't get any respect being out on the West Coast, and it used to be, I think 2 or 3 years ago, Weber was real good and ASU was real good, so it was great for our schedule. And even splitting with them, looked good in the rankings when they were top 10 teams or top 12 teams. But now that neither one of them are not ranked and are having rough seasons, we play 12 games against them out of our 30 games that we play. It really doesn't help us. We beat them. It doesn't do anything for us in the rankings. If we lose anything to them or have a close game with them, it just looks terrible. So
now I remember reading the Daily Wildcat a couple weeks ago, and don't remember who it was, but someone said it's not our fault that Weber State and Arizona State are not having good seasons, because Weber State, they beat you the first game, beat them in overtime the next game, and then we swept them just a couple last weekend, and ended off the season 20-8, which by any means that would be a good record, a good enough record to get you into the tournament. Obviously, playing teams like Oakland and splitting with them, the defending national champions who are in the tournament, they're going to take on Oklahoma. And Michigan State splitting with them, the defending Division II champions. And let me ask you a question about that. With playing Michigan State, Division II team, does that really make a difference? I mean, whether Division II, Division I? I mean, they played...
I mean, I think the hard thing is there's a lot of... Anyone who doesn't play D1 hockey can actually have anybody on their team. They can have grad students. They can have people who have played, at any other level. I think the year before I came here, Texas Tech was D2, and Texas Tech had a bunch of grad school kids who played in the Q, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, which is essentially if you play there, you're actually not eligible for college anywhere, because it's technically professional hockey and that you get paid. And they had, a top line of 4 guys on it who were, I think, grad school kids from there, and they'd put up 4 or 5 goals a game just because of their skill level.
Yeah.
And, these D2 teams, Michigan State was a good team. I think one of the best teams we've played this year. But the hard thing is, because they're D2, if we lose to them, it looks terrible. But if we beat them, nobody really cares.
It just looks average, right?
Exactly. It's just kind of a lose-lose situation for us. It's like beating up in the Little Sisters of the Poor. I mean, it really doesn't do too much for us. And that's the hard thing, is if you're not playing a strong schedule, you're not playing some teams, who are, contenders from out east, you're not playing, Penn State, Illinois, some of these teams, it really unfortunately doesn't do much for us.
Now, how do we remedy that? Is that just scheduling?
Unfortunately, it's expensive to come out here and play us. Yeah. It's very unlikely that we're going to fly out east to play a team and spend a lot of money because we are a club, and we do get a good drawing, and fortunately we do have a pretty good budget, but it's just not worth us for us to fly out east, play a team twice, and spend a bunch of money on that, and then not have them come back and play us because they don't want to do it, or have to pay them to come back and play us, which just doesn't financially make sense. And the other thing is, a lot of these teams don't want to play us. I mean, it's a big environment out here. I mean, you come out and, even with Penn State, you have, 700 people, 800 people when they sell out their rink. If they come out here and see 4,000 or 5,000 people, it's a different atmosphere. And a lot of coaches, our coach, even, harps on it a lot. But, I think he is right. A lot of coaches don't want you to see that. They don't want you to see that there is, another side of club hockey. I mean, we are unique and kind of an enigma, but... you don't want your players to go somewhere else to a nice climate, great place to play like this. But So it's hard. It's hard to schedule. I mean, there's certain teams that will play us and certain teams that won't. Oklahoma won't play us after last year, because we had kind of a gong show out there. It was a lot of penalties, a lot of fights, and they don't want to play us.
A lot of glass broken, courtesy of Evan Morrow.
Yeah, they won't play us. They won't come out here and play us this year, which is tough because they're a top 10 team again, and so. Us just playing better teams helps us in the rankings. You look at, football rankings, BCS, anything like that. Anybody who follows that, you can have a great record, and if you don't play any strong teams, you still might be, out of the top 20. You probably, you might not even make a bowl game.
Pointing towards Hawaii.
Yeah.
But on that note, you talking about the big crowd and stuff. What's it like playing? I mean, you're a senior now. You're going into your last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What has it been like playing in front of so many people at the TCC? Just playing club hockey at this level and seeing so many people come out to support you guys.
I mean, it's great. I mean, it's it's one of those feelings that you really can't explain until you're out there on the ice. And I think I think everybody comes out here thinking that they're ready for it. I know my freshman year, I came out and I was, I thought I was ready for it. I've played in high school. I think our high school team was pretty good. We won state championship my senior year, and we played in front of 7,000-8,000 people. In the championship game, that was a huge crowd. It was definitely a experience. But coming out here doing it. Weekend after weekend. The first time you come out here, just because the crowd's so raucous and so wild, it definitely it's definitely an experience, and it's intimidating the first time you're out here, and you take it for granted, I think, until you go on the road and you realize that a lot of these other teams play in front of 50 people, 100 people, 200 people.
As we've seen in Arizona State, usually about half the fans are ours,
exactly.
And Arizona State's got a little more small following, or you know what I mean, but. So what's it like going to Arizona State and seeing all of our fans pack out their place?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I love seeing everybody, get into it, and especially just because it's such even when there's 100 people from U of A who come up, it's it's wild because it seems like it's a lot more in such a small arena.
And then you talk about coming out here. You're from Hanover, New Hampshire. What made you come out to Arizona to play club hockey?
I was playing junior hockey, and basically halfway through my first year playing junior hockey, I blew my knee out. And, I was looking at a bunch of smaller schools for Division III out there and talking to a couple D1 schools. And once you get hurt, a lot of, anybody who was really offering me any money to come out and play was kind of not interested because you're a hurt commodity. And so, I was kind of looking around and, I like playing. It's fun to play in front of people. And, you kind of hear, there's a club team and, in a great environment. I mean, Arizona's, a really fun place to be, and you get a lot of fans. And on top of that, you don't get owned. Everybody I know who plays D3 hockey is at school all summer lifting, is very much so committed the entire year. And I do want to have a college experience. And a lot of those kids I know don't. They play hockey the whole time. They don't get to, enjoy some of the social things that you'd go along with college, and I think are a big part of it. And I really don't regret it whatsoever. I mean, I have a bunch of friends who play D1, and, I think a lot of them get out of college kind of wondering, like, what was it like to be a real student, or what was it like to be an actual student? And, I think that was one of the big appeals for me, is that you don't have that commitment, that D1 commitment, but you get to play in front of fans like you're at a D1 program, and you get to have some of that notoriety. And it's definitely an experience. I will say it's something that's different and unique, and I think I made the right choice.
And then also, growing up, New Hampshire's obviously big with hockey. Who do you like? What was your team growing up? Who do you like? Stuff like that.
I think probably the Red Wings. I mean, my parents are from Detroit. We go back. Are you an Avs fan over here? Is that what I?
Fan.
Oh God.
What a game yesterday.
Oh God, that was a good game. But no, I mean, I think I'm a Red Wings fan for life, pretty much. My favorite player growing up was Victor Constantino.